Hello everybody and welcome back to a new episode of the TypeScript Tea Time. I'm your host Mirko and hope you're having an awesome day today. We're going to continue with our little app that we are developing, which is not visible here, but which I should be able to start up in just a few seconds. So what does this app do? It is called the Daily Questions app. What it does is it asks you questions, well, every day. At point of time, you can open the app, or you should be opening the app every day, then answer a couple of questions that you can specify. We kind of have a default selection, which is specifically designed for me, based on a method by Marshall Goldsmith, a leadership coach. In his book called Triggers. Very good book, by the way. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. You get right into the application and then it just asks you the questions. If you answer those questions, you will be at some point able to see some statistics. If you've done the questions enough times, let's take some data here, highlight theme on Twitch. And one thing that I want to do better is I compile before starting the stream. Maybe. Bams, we see a summary, then we can confirm and share, because what I originally did and currently still doing is share this with a partner via WhatsApp in our case, because he still hasn't moved to Telegram. where we could be using nice stickers for free. But nevertheless, with this you could also be sharing it on any other platform that you want. You could also send it via SMS. Probably it would be multiple SMS, but if you want to send SMS, you can also just not do it, and that works as well. Yeah, that's pretty much the state we are, where we're at. Last time we started with the export functionality, because I currently have the application installed on my phone, and I am already collecting data. I don't know, I have like 20 entries or something. Can't tell exactly. But as soon as this application is actually reviewed on Google Play Store, which is currently is stuck on the review part, then I of course want to switch to the kind of official version from the Play Store, and you can then also download it. It's for free. The problem with that is due to app signing by Google, or in the current case it's basically kind of self-signed, so that this application is really from me, or from Play Store from me. The data will be deleted, which would be kind of a bummer for me after I've put in the work. I mean, 20 days of work is like nothing compared to the 5 years or 7 years that 6 years I've been doing this. But nevertheless, I would like to have the data. So that's why last time we looked into exporting, we started looking into the storage application framework. And man, the basic idea last time that I had was actually download a file, then you can do with it whatever you want. But that was surprisingly complicated, and it still is. As soon as you want to share the file, or move to a slightly different location, looked at the storage access framework from Android, which I didn't get to work, unfortunately. Maybe it was because I'm using Expo, and it does not work on the emulator together with Expo Go. But I didn't get it to work. I did find the maybe simplest solution, however, possible. Oh.
APXL underscore joined our tea time.
Yeah, that's an L. Good to see you, APXL. Excel, maybe? Welcome to the tea time. This is for you. Cheers. Good to see you. By the way, also thank you for the new follows. In particular, thanks to the shout out, I think, from Finite Singularity yesterday. Great, check him out. Doing all kinds of both Python, but also TypeScript and JavaScript development. We have a couple of new followers also. OneMind as well as Johnny Knoxville. Also Tenerello. Thank you so much for following. Good to see you here at the TypeScript. So how's it going? Excel. I guess I call you Excel. If that's fine with you. How are you doing? Nice seeing you live coding in Twitch. Have a nice one. Yeah, you too. Live coding is on Twitch is fun, and it can be really, really educative, I find. Maybe not here. Just kidding. I hope it's kind of educating. At the very least entertaining to a degree. Lunchtime from React Dev. Nice. We're currently doing React Native, by the way. You cannot see anything yet, but here is basically the app running in our Android emulator. Cool. So you're doing React development. Any specific frameworks that you're using, or just the plain? Probably not. One does not simply use the plain, right? There's always more. So where was I? The simplest solution that I found for doing the export functionality and also the import functionality, in fact. Next.js. Sweet. Yeah. Next, the static generation from framework. Sweet. I think my company website is actually done by that with that, but it's still like a very old version, and I haven't touched it in years, so probably there's still stuff wrong. I suppose it also has a terrible design to be honest, because I'm a backend developer originally, and you see that in my design skills. Yeah, React Native looks very, very similar to React, except that you can, in particular, you don't talk to the browser API. You instead talk to the API that the native devices provide you with. So I think we had somewhere an export button. Maybe the weirdest thing for you is usually you have a div. In React Native you call it view. Of course you can. After that everything is similar. You kind of have to replace view or div with view, and depending on the framework you replace a P with a paragraph or with a text component, but other than that it's very, very similar. We are currently using kind of a Material UI version for React, which is called React Native Paper. So yeah, Material UI is a React version, or the web version. On this is kind of the equivalent. It's called React Native Paper. Here it is. Our buttons on that. And you can see here, this is kind of material design style, the amount of shading you have and all of that. Yeah, exactly. So I think we do have this export button already. The simplest thing that we have. So here inside of the settings, I have this export button, but currently it does exactly nothing. Doesn't even log anything. But the simplest that I can do is really just call share from React Native, which is provided by the API, dot share, and then you say which content do you want to share. In this case, it's the history, but stringified. So the history is just from our store, it persisted a list of these answers as well as daily questions that we have, kind of the ID of the goals questions, and then a 5, the ID of progress question, and then a 6 as a value, and so on. And this together with a date. That's the history that piles up as you do your daily questions each day. And all we want to do is basically just json.stringify, do the history thing. Why do you not like this? Argument of type string. Not. Oh, can it share a string? Yeah, can't. It is an object. Okay, that makes sense. Didn't we use share somewhere before? Share dot. Wait. Share dot message format export. Yeah, okay. We already have a share functionality here inside of the main questions. And you click here, and then this thing opens thanks to the API that we got. I already sent that with you because you're developing an self-API. Oh, you're also into that? Yeah. So this comes from Marsha Goldsmith, the idea. The book is Triggers, Marsha Goldsmith. And I'm not affiliated, unfortunately, to him. I do consider, I was actually told to by my life coach friend who's doing these questions with me, I should write him a message. To say thank you, and B, to tell him I have an app that actually does the thing that he is talking about inside of here. And that might actually help. Do they have the daily questions here? Goldsmith offers the simplest magic bullet solution in the form of daily self-monitoring, hinging around what he calls active questions. And this is what we are kind of automating. Or at least what I'm automating, the process that you have to do. So the question that he prescribes actually is, did I do my best to set clear goals today? And then you give it an answer between 1 and 10. 0 and 10 if you use a different scale. In my case, I just said it's 1 and 10. And 0 is actually the 10. Because there is no 10 on the keyboard. Yeah. So, and this basically, it leads you through the. He actually has only 6 questions. By now I have it slightly changed. I think in his case it's like, did I do my best to set clear goals? Did I do my best to make progress towards my goals? Did I do my best to find meaning? Did I do my best to be happy today? Did I do my best to build positive relationships? And then there's a question about actually, did I do my best to do the daily questions properly? Did I do my best to be fully engaged? I changed that up together with my daily questions partner into a couple of different questions. And in fact, I also added section for just the personal highlight. You can in fact customize all of these, and if you want to, you can call this one goals to talk to people, or I don't know. Save. Oh, I'm not able to write people properly. There you go. But I don't want to do that. I like the short name codes. Save. There we go. That should revert it. Yeah. So that's that part. And the simplest that we can do is, oops, not that. I shared the bug. Perfect. JSON.stringify, and we use history, which we get as properties already in this button component, thanks to being hooked up into the Redux hierarchy. So if I do that and I go to settings, I should now, if I click here, see this share something, and then we should see the data right here. There we go. And now if you actually have, so I could just copy it to clipboard, that would also work. But if you have Google Drive set up, which I do not have on an emulator, but you can what you will see, you see a kind of a new, how do you call this? A new file wizard, essentially. And then you can just give it a name, select your position where you want to save it, and then you have it exported to Google Drive. And I think I cannot do any less than this. I do think I have to await this now. Yeah, it returns a promise. We could also just, oops, my bad. Could also do something like this instead. That's the same, of course. I don't know. Let's do that one. And that's it. That's all the export functionality that I was hoping for. And last time we were kind of stuck for about 1.5 hour. That's really hard to say. 1.5 hours. So that's the share functionality done. Finished. Whole feature completed, I would say. At least for the very, very simple purpose of what we are trying to do. What I'm not 100% sure about is whether I want to actually put this in only experimental mode. Because most people won't probably need it. Yes. Or we can just leave. Yeah, we can just leave. But I will probably put the import which we will write now probably inside of let's add just a little bit of styling here, because as you can see this looks terrible. Have here that's the annoying warning that we get because of the library that we're using. Yeah, just a little bit of padding here, and then I think we're good. So const style so style dot create. This is basically just a. We could also just inline it. Style sheet. So this. Basically just a cached version of the CSS that we want to write. If you're ever interested in doing React Native, some stuff with CSS doesn't work on phone. Be aware of that. If you're good with CSS, you probably know the cool stuff. I don't know. And some of the cool stuff doesn't work. I don't know whether, I think pseudo selectors, not pseudo elements, pseudo, what are they called? Like colon before React Native. I'm not sure whether these things actually work. Pseudo classes do not work in React Native, for example. styled components, for example, seems to be working on. You gotta be careful which kind of CSS you're using in that case, to a degree. So let's see, what do we need? So what I want to do is just add a little bit of style right here. And it's not style, what's it called, class name in this case, but style. Then we just say style.container. Find container right there. Suppose it's just a little bit of margin, maybe top or bottom. We do have this component here, which we might want to check out to see what kind of margin it uses. Can I see that somehow? Here I don't see anything. Do I see anything with you? No, I don't. Great. Well, let's look at start of next day maybe. Somewhere we should have. There we go. In this case, I just use margin bottom 16. So I just do the same probably. Right here. And I don't really care about, because it's such a simple app, I don't really care about sharing too much code. I'm kind of lazy at this point. We might want to add this here as well. We have to import style sheet though. From native. But for whatever reason, the style sheet import never worked from React. But only that one. Everything else works fine. Do I have style for this one directly? Containers, content style, container style. Style of menus inner content. Probably it's then just style. Suppose. Look. Oh, that didn't work. Don't have anything else around this, right? No. That didn't. Not because it didn't load properly, right? Nope. What did was it? No. Just not happen. Content style. Ah, because we have to add it to the button, not to the menu. So this context menu here is anchored to a specific component, and you, for whatever reason, they decided that you should provide it like this. So we have to add it to the button, of course, and not to the menu. So here now it works. And for future's sake, I also just added it to the export history button now. Then we do that, and then we say, what do we have? So this is actually a feature, I suppose, side of things. Thanks. Which part of the app, what I'm writing here, and it's a feature. And then we just say this is export history, leveraging there. For example, export to clipboard or new file in. There we go. Done. So with that, I think we can just say, well, export to CSV, done. Then we need an import, because otherwise I don't have any benefit from the, at least I personally don't have any benefit from that button. I was that close. So let's call this one import 3 TSX. Just call this one history. Pretty much need the same, I suppose. Don't need that one. Import history from clipboard. That's what I want. So I assume you have it in clipboard, and then we need something like set. Do I have a function like that? So history slice. Inside of our Redux state, global state that we have submit dailies, we have clear, we have mock history, but there is no set history. Receives a state, it receives an action, is a payload action, has actually a history as its type. Then it just says state.history equal to action.payload. Comma. And this way we completely override it. We should probably have some validation, right? So need to export friend here. Now it's exported. Now we can import it somewhere. Const map dispatch. Have you worked with Redux before? Being a state management solution. There are many others there. But as your global state grows, it can be useful to kind of smooth that out, right? So now we import it, we wrap it with a dispatch and connect it to the store. And then we can import and actually use it. And here we probably do something like clipboard dot. This clipboard from React Native. Clipboard has been extracted from React Native 4 and it will be removed in a future release. It can now be installed and imported from React Native community clipboard instead of React Native. Okay, in that case, since it's not provided from React Native and we would need to install it anyway, let's use the Expo equivalent set, which is most likely, very, very likely, using the underlying React Native stuff. Expo kind of sits on top of React Native again, make it easier for you to develop with it. And they give you a lot of libraries, specifically kind of not rewritten, but aligned with the Expo philosophy. And many of them, in fact, managed by the main from Expo. So we have clipboard. Where do I import you? I think we don't need, because we have this in our types configuration, synthetic imports. And with that, can get string async format plain text. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. Oh wait, third format. Target format of the clipboard string to be converted to, if possible. String format. Oh. String format dot. Do we have JSON? No, we have HTML. Not useful. Well, let's get rid of that one. We can await this or need to. And then we have clipboard text, pasted text. Is it paste if it's pasted text? And then we verify or validate. Better word in this case. Validate. Validate not from your UID. Oh, thank you. Oh, the import was very, very fast. Content validate is a function which does the following. It takes something. So basically imported history string and it returns currently just true. String. Then after we've validated everything, we just set it. Paste the text. Perhaps you don't like that because it's still a string. So one thing that I do want to do, something like a try catch. Something like a try catch. If there is an error, we definitely return false. Otherwise, we return true. And one thing that I do want is just JSON.parse this imported history string. And if this fails, the parsing, then, well, we return false. Otherwise, for now, we just say, yeah, everything is, but there's probably more to do. There more work. So validate const is valid. Valid is validate that text, and then if valid, do the thing. Otherwise, do another thing. Probably show an error. And here we can now just easily do that because we already do the validation. Save. Because save because. So currently it cannot reconnect, but we have statistics now. Yeah, now I have statistics. Very good. Let's see. If I go to settings now, I don't have this one linked up. What history? Oh, settings screen. Import history. Spams. Why are you not there? Button. Ah, there it is. It just took a moment. Just took a moment. So import history from clipboard. Currently, it will most likely fail. Unhandled promise reject. Oh. Why? undefined is not an object. Evaluating get expo clipboard defaults get string a. It's because we have nothing inside. Why? Word format. Oh. Let's do this. Oh, it's probably. Wait. Oh, why is this not? Expo clipboard.default. Okay, so probably. Where's the import? There it is. Star s. Just for safety's sake. That. Huh. Invariant violation. At least one of URL and messages. How did I get that one? Export? Boy. Message. It's not stringify. This always returns something. Even if history is empty, even if it's undefined, even if it would be undefined, never is. This becomes. Alright. Thanks for coming in. I'll be streaming some probably around the week, time to time. Otherwise, this is kind of the regular time, 18 to 20, 18 to 19:30, sometimes more, sometimes less, on Wednesdays. So thanks for joining, and have a good day, Axel. Bye bye. Enjoy your work. So let's get this one rocking. Currently we have at least one of URL and message. Message is provided. Does this help? It shouldn't. Oh. How can... This is not bad? Dog. This. Or... Three. This should not be. History is undefined, but it's still a string, which is fine. Still the string with text undefined, kind of this. Right? I think so. I think so. How do we start node? JSON.stringify nothing. Oh, that's the object undefined and not the string undefined, in fact. Not stringify. We put specifically undefined inside of there. It's still undefined. And not the string undefined, like in the case of Okay, today I learned why is history empty though? It shouldn't. It shouldn't be empty. It should always be an array. Mm-hmm. Oh, I get it. Because I already called set. And it was not valid, in fact. Instead, it was terrible flush. Because we haven't written this functionality yet. So what it did was it parsed probably undefined or an empty string or something. And then it said, well, this is undefined. And then it said, well, set the history to undefined. Which means we kind of broke our Redux state now, and we persisted it. Yes. Awesome. But there's a simple fix to this, I think, which is just, for now, we set it to empty array. There you go. Shouldn't there be something? Because okay, I'm not calling this. Never array is not assignable to object with history. You need a history, and this needs to be an empty object. And then I want this one to just be happening. For now. Mix up the parentheses. So now we should have a history again. Yeah, it's empty array. Okay, so that fixes that fixes that problem. That kind of gets me to the idea of actually writing the function. Which means const history. Oh, yeah. Imported. One. And then we say, well, imported. Oh, what do we need? So we need, it must be an array. Array dot is array imported. Not an array. Throw new error. Not an array. If. So now it's an array. Now we can do something like if not. Actually, we can. Yeah. If not imported dot any array. Yeah, perfect. Map every item, and then we can say something like is history or entry, what we called it, of item, and then we can again throw an arrow. throw new error, not a historic found malformed item in the something like that. And we can rewrite this one to be just like return. All right. Then we need this function here, which receives an item, some object actually, just any kind of object. It's not that type. What I want is a record of string to unknown. And now, so there are libraries, by the way, that do this, but I don't want to add a new library again. Typically, I would use class validator. Okay, problem. So, how does it actually look like? We do have historic entry here. Export that interface. Select. And here we can say something like object is historic entry. And it must be a named function. That's a weirdness in TypeScript. Oh no, forget what I just said. This is fine. This should be fine. And now we have something like true. Now he's happy. The type predicate's name must be assignable to its parameter type. Historic entry is not assignable to type string unknown. That does work. Although the type is slightly wrong, actually. I think this is just anything that's not an object or not null. Which we actually don't know. Actually, let's just say unknown. So we have if object or is nil, we can use Lodash here, object, then false. You already know that much. Now it's an object, an actual object. Then, you know, it was also something like is plain object from Lodash object. If not a plain object, return false. Next one. We need, how does historic entry actually look like? If need the date, if not date in object. How do you invert that? Const of is object, but now it's actually of type. TypeScript is not helping here in this case. Object is of type unknown. Also, because we are on object 2. So that we can just say object 2.date must be a string, right? type of this is string, and it also needs a specific format actually. Tag2.date. As of now, we treat the object as an historic entry, kind of. Maybe a partial. That's better. And does that work? Yeah, he's still happy about it. So, if the date is string and date.match, we now need a regex. And we did some regex the other day, right? So we have two minuses here. We have to something like 2021, 06, 12. And we have 1999, 4, 12, 30. So what we want is 4 digits. Does that work? And there are better ways to do this, by the way, but I just want a very, very quick solution here. Digit and 30 here, yeah. Something like that. We might as well use something like how often do we want something? Exactly 3 of. So we do \d4 2 2. And we could make this even better, but I hope that's not necessary. I think we need a regex. Hopefully. So if it is type, if it is not of this type, or that doesn't work, huh? That does work. Is of this type, it goes into the second one. If it is not, yeah, that works. Okay. Then, well, return false again. Next one, if type of entry dot use, so questions. Normally I would write questions, but in this case we actually have limited space. That's why I decided that, well, write queues instead. If queues, if not queues, or use dot use is an array, again an array dot every sum is answered question turn 4. What? Gate. So otherwise return true finally. So we need that one. So we have we again have an object. We again have unknown. And then We have object is historic entry at position queues at position number. I think that's the correct type. I hope. Nice idea. but wait. That doesn't look too terrible. Yeah, that actually doesn't look too terrible. We need to check whether this is an array and or not entry array dot is array entry dot queues or d and a. So this one needs to be currently type of string or type of entry.a is not equal. Number. So we have an entry inside of this queues array. It needs an ID and it needs the answer. So we again check whether the object that we get is actually an object, basically with these two. Otherwise we return false. Then we say, well, this is an object, and now we check whether it has an ID property, and that is a string indeed, and whether it has an a property, which is a string or a number. And this is basically this must match the types of the answer types, right? In currently points or full text. Okay. While there's to do, I just leave this. So enter.queues.sum. So there is some question which is not an answered question. That's then this whole thing is again broken. Perfect. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, this validation logic is not the simplest, and it would be nice if we write some tests for this. I'm not going to do that now. I would write it in production code. Maybe rewrite it. Data, or we at least verify that it does work for a couple of. It would be. We have tests. Yes. Yeah, we might actually have that set up. Maybe. Let's do it. Let's just do it. So we take all of this fun stuff here, put it into another file which we call port validation. .ts. Some imports. Could have also just copied the imports from the other one, but unless import, import, validate, import it. Very long name, but at least we know what it's supposed to do. Validation. And now we use it right there. And inside of here, I want to copy this and say, give me a function test.t. So just to finish the actual code, error. Here we can now do JSON.parse parse. Else we do some error handling. And now we can go inside of this test function, say something like did it validate a good turns true for a good history. Look something like this, basically the function that we want to write. So whatever. This one. Don't have that one. That one. Port. We have to change our TypeScript slightly. What do I add? I always forget that. Yes, just export type. Fact. If I name I think there's something in the compiler option. Yeah, here. Types. We need node in this. Suppose not. So and now I may need to start. I fear that all my state goes down the drain. Reload. Now we should have the types and it shouldn't error anymore, I hope. Ah, okay, can I find you need to do this? Yes, I probably do. Yarn expo install. Oh, yarn add -d types jest, but we probably want a specific version of jest. Jest expo 45. That's definitely not the jest version. Jest is somewhere in at the end of 20 concerning its version. Yeah, 28. Okay. Good. Maybe just expo TypeScript prime. Well, let's do that. Because we're only installing the types. 6 new dependencies just for the types? Kidding me? Oh, just for the types it needs... What? That's ridiculous. I mean, it's just a TypeScript file, right? Or a types that should just be a types declaration file. Why would it install more dependencies? Just the file. Well, at least it now works. We have that one imported, and if we put in an empty string here, one of our test case turns false for an empty string. Actually don't know what should happen on empty array string. That should be true, I suppose, huh? Suppose, yeah. Kind of a reset logic then, if you want to get rid of everything. So, let's start the emulator again. Is it still running? Oh no. No, everything is broke. No, emulator, don't leave me. Don't leave me behind, emulator. Because when this happens, I unfortunately sometimes even have to restart my whole computer. Which would, well, not be great. Kill -9. Emulator. Grab emulator. Emulator. It works again. Whew. We're good, we're good. Oh my goodness, what is... This is fine. Oh no, no, it's okay. So the way why I'm starting this now, I could actually just start the tests in the meantime. Run the first test. Can't find mod, you just package. Oh, you're not. Well, I would have expected it to install just. Apparently it doesn't. Yarn. How are we with X? Latest version is 45, so we are up to date apparently. We are. So you've completed your daily 0 times. Ah, we completely reset everything, right? So let's just add fake entry here. Times. And I do want to go to the settings now, click the export. Now I have this here, and I hope I can actually share this with it works. Nice. So here the answer is 1, 2 maybe. This should be true. False. True. All right. Now, yarn at the That check native. Oh, run expo install just expo. Great. So that they are actually linked properly. Should be doing this instead. And expo then takes care of picking versions that actually work together. Apparently 26 and 28. And with jest, it can be really bothersome to get the correct versions. Figuring out. Terrible. What I don't want that this side of my dependencies. Want the preset. Don't want this there. Then we probably also need the TypeScript. I add minus types. That. Oh, all right, and they use right. So for test. Hey, it works. Chapter.json probably is .j. That's not going to. No, that's definitely not going to work. I think we just remove this thing here. Should we get? Okay, now it works. We see that one does not act, the actual test does not actually satisfy. Okay, not that great, because now we have to deep dive into fun stuff, find out what's happening. Work configuration. Test work. Now the fun part comes. Suppose I just configuration that I already have. My other app seems to be working, at least with the versions that I have set up. They're working fairly. Oh, ramps. That one. And in here we should see something like Node.js config. Node file. What are we trying to do? Set up a debugger. And we don't need that one. Maybe they have no that package. Inside here we probably have a tested debug. or maybe we don't. Can try the following. Work, attach, auto attach maybe. Always. Then we put in boot here and maybe another breakpoint right there. And run it. Doesn't attach. So just work. Note break. That one. So let's try this again. Test debug. This configuration. Inspect instead. And hopefully it works, but I'm kind of worried about TypeScript now. Yarn test debug. At least it still ran. Question now is, why did it not work? Let's do the break. That, and then we should be able to debug attach to node process. Find the right one. Not important. There we go. Okay, now we can step into. Then we can step over. That one worked. This one worked as well. Now we have to step into this too. So it seems to be fine. Now we're at the entry 0706 is our regex, correct? Oh, it does match. Then return false. So we have, at the very least, we have a not here. We also need one, probably that. So that one was definitely wrong already. You can just try to run it again. Save, then run it again. I forgot a not. Still false. Or it does not match. It's debugger thing again. Debugging, use a debugger. In. Works. Oh, I think it already. Yeah. I think on the very first one it already failed. Do it again. What? The one inside of here. So I think the first one is already seems to be. So let's step inside. This one still works. This one still works. The date is now correct. Next one. Entry. Okay, something inside of there is broken. We know that much. Probably... Well then. Put it right there. Debugging thing, debug. Forgot to update our list. The list is updated. Here aren't. Okay. So, let's attach again. Attachment is all nice. So so it seems to be queues is defined and queues is an array. We probably need to go somewhere. Good again. For whatever reason, or the attach doesn't work. Step inside time. Now we have the first. This one is still fine. Now step inside. That's a bit too much for for me to handle. Let's split this. If entry dot let's do something like you. We stop you for now, and we do for 2 of d dot. Do this thing. Const is answered question. Valid is equal to that one. If not valid, I don't know. 5. I just want a breakpoint. Move all those breakpoints. Start the debugger up again, do that thing. Now we should jump exactly to the place where we want, or we don't. Because you need to write proper code. It needs to be proper syntax. Who would have expected that code actually needs proper syntax? I definitely didn't. So, another try. Perhaps. So, Q. It has an A and it has an ID. That looks perfectly fine. This ID is probably just the very, very first one. Yes. Which means we can just make a breakpoint right there and then step inside to see what's broken. But maybe you noticed that the good thing that without me even actually running the code, I still don't know whether this works inside of here. Without that, we are already fixing the bugs that we apparently have. So you. Oh, well, this is always false. Right? Either one of these is always false. What do we want? We want it to be one of these two types. So we can do something like what includes this is correct. So that's at least one more error that we have. Not saying that we're done. So if it does not include, maybe we actually do even a once is string or number is x an unknown value maps to x is string or if not string or number entry.a then return false. Right, one more fixed. Let's just run it completely. Maybe we're lucky and we fixed it. Yeah, we did. Sweet. There we go. That's what I want to see. Nice. So now we can actually, I think, re-enable this one. Take that one. Currently it didn't fail. Never mind. Never mind. It ran just now, it doesn't mean anything. Damn it. Damn it. Okay, forget what I said. Let's step inside again. Something else seems to be broken. So. Yeah. So run the debugger again. We attach to the node process because the other one work. Yeah, skip over that one. There we go. Step inside because we know already the very first one is the culprit already. So this one is fine. That one is also fine. This line doesn't do anything except change the typing, in fact. Entry.id should be a string. And it is a string. Very good. And then there's entry A should be a string or a number. Apparently that's wrong. Why? What is type of X actually? Huh. Wait. What am I missing here? I must be missing something obvious now. Oh wait, there's a not in front of here. That's the obvious. There we go. I doubled the not, in fact. So I had one in front of here, so it would not be in the type of that, which means the name of this function would be wrong. But then I have another one here, which then it inverts it again, so it actually was a string or a number. And now we should be fine. This time I'm fairly sure, at least for the very first entry. Not saying that everything will work. Step inside, step. step. True. Nice. Finally we did. As I said earlier, there are libraries that do this for you. And also libraries that do this for you very, very nicely without writing all of this fun code. But since this is the first time that we're writing validation inside of our app, I think, at least non-absolutely trivial validation, slightly reluctant to adding a new library again, which I have to care for in particular when they provide some updates and so. Because every library that you do add does mean some more maintenance. Then again, your own code also usually means. But here we already have tests. So I'm fairly comfortable that this does in fact work. We do something like null here and take out all the rest. Is that correct? Object starting here, starting over there. Yeah, that seems to be for a good broken history string. History string with invalid answer value. Oh, that's maybe one more thing that we could. If entry.a, if we have a number and it should be between 1 and 10, right? So if type of entry.a equal to number and entry.a is smaller than 1 or entry.a is greater than 10, then also return false. In fact, we would need to be checking that it's also an integer. We can do. And integer, or is integer. Let's do that in a separate line. And not an integer. Dot a. Dash. It's not an integer, it's also not valid. Good. I think we're fairly solid with this now. Trans true for string with invalid answer value. Will you type with invalid non-integer answer value? Say this 1.5.5 15. Do I need a space? I think I don't need one, right? And with an integer answer value below 1, 0, for example, and integer answer value above 10, for example, 11. Just do it. Do the thing. Explode it. Wrong. This one doesn't work. Well, that's too bad. Well, that's too bad. Arguably, we wouldn't need to do this. A, there won't be too many people, and B, there will even be less people who want to import something and if they import junky data, well, they should be prepared. Yeah, to have some, let's say, inconsistent consistent history. I would expect at least. Side, stability step inside, stability step inside out there, and stability step all over those guys, and then here we need to stuff. Oh boy. All right. Should still be fine. This should also. No, wait, that one is wrong. If it's below 1 or it's above 10, there needs to be an or here. Actually, we can use low dash. The range? Yeah. I think what we can use that is range. Creates an array. No, that's not in between. Between or between. What is the low dash function that does the between two numbers? I want low dash. Dash. That's not low dash. There's definitely a low dash function. Range. No, that's the wrong one. Hmm? Hmm? What was that function called? Function bang math. Floor divides in range. Not right. Okay. But not including the end. So in range instead. So between 1 and 11 then. Times not in range. So another try. It didn't work. There are better ways to do this, by the way. Okay, ditch the node process. Do the debugging thing again. Go. So 5.5 was passed correctly, apparently. The one is fine. Oh, did I just mess up the return value? Yeah, it should invalidate this. It should invalidate that. False. The good thing is, we did actually find a bug. So, so with those all done, now if I do test, should be fine. No! Right? For anything with invalid answer value type. Well, that should be default as well, right? Invalid answer value. This should be trans proof with integer answer value below 1. That should be false. Also be false. Above 10 should also be false. Ah, copy paste error. Yes. Stop. Okay. So above 10 doesn't work. Below 1 also doesn't work. That check. Not in range 1 and 11. And 4. I expect this one to work. Then start number. Oh, we need, of course, need to provide entry.a. Okay. Entry.a. The number entry.a needs to be between start and end. Okay, yeah. You need to write down. Use the proper signature, of course. And now this one seems to be working. If we use remove.only. We're good! Finally. Peace. Let's check whether it actually works on our phone. So we do have one entry. And if we do import, nothing happens. Of course, we probably go inside of here. Third log, validation file. If we export, if we copy it to history, where do we log that one? Those were leftovers from when we had an. Now, if I click import, it should this here and import it. Did it work? It at least didn't say invalid. There's unfortunately no real way to actually. Can I share my clipboard with? Yeah, I think it did work. Can do the following. Let's just set this one to 2020. Maybe 1999. Very, very worked. Didn't work. VS Code, why do you freeze? Oh! VS Code froze. Lately, VS Code has been kind of troublesome when it comes to crap. Rest in peace. Crap. Let's restart. Thing is shut down. Let's whether we can. Okay. Alright. 1999 now. Open it. We may actually comma here, and then we say 7. Yep. Import. That didn't work. Do I have actually anything in my paste? So I do have stuff inside, apparently. And the question is new stuff or is it the... Can I... It's the new stuff. So it is copied from here, but for whatever reason, still didn't do the thing. But it also didn't complain. Interesting. Third log. Worked. It actually didn't. Why not? Did see it link up to the store already. So it is linked up to the... But let's double check that. Nice. Inside of here, have our date.history, payload history, log. That one doesn't need. Oh no, now it's gonna call. Okay. Seems to be working. Or is it just not updated? If I close this down, it should update. Is set, but it's not being set properly. Set history coming from dispatch, which gets patched to store, sets history, whatever is inside of there. Fine. What's the not actually it one is a writable draw. We not allowed to change this again. If I do just for the lols dot state 3 payload dot history. Click import again. Does say worked. Still don't. What are we doing wrong? Confused. Oh. So if you have any idea, please chime in. Because currently I'm like absolutely not sure why this would not work. What am I missing? It's connected to the store. It does get received inside of the store. It's actually still says did your daily zero. Hmm. What is going wrong now? Let's get to the store. You know the data has arrived. Hmm. Okay. Not sure. I guess I have to check that again too. Why is this not actually changing history? That one is an important one, but what we can do maybe at least show kind of a... We already have snack bars inside of here. What snack bar? Ignite. Apparently I don't use a snack bar yet. Can do the road state. And then we can put in a snack bar. In clipboard. String from clipboard is snack bar. Why do you complain? Need more properties currently. Children dismiss. Now that snack bar is happy. One. Change all of this so slightly, make it completely invalid. Invalid. Can't find variables. So we also don't set error. Error trip. Reload. There it is. Okay, that's not quite what I expected. With a snack bar positioning. Not quite what I... I would have expected this to kind of like a dialogue. Good thing it's placed over everything relative to the screen instead of relative to the native absolute position. This one is thing react paper, but stylish snack bar from React Native paper. Bottom. It looks good. Very good, very. Do they do this? Oh, there's some. No, that's one. Top. This a Boolean variable. Label. This. This looks so terrible. Oh, this one is just content space. The snack bar might actually be more complicated. So what I think I would need to have kind of a global snack bar, then where you push in messages. Don't want to get it. Okay. I guess next time we do a little dialogue for import. Central press. The button, and we want error handling. Do error handling, and I still need to find out why it's the most important one. Why does the history not actually get changed? Which is very awkward. I can't really explain you why it does not work. It does not work. So, I think we do that next time. What we did do is we set up testing, which is good. We have our validation. We have a good chunk of import stuff, I think. A little bit to do still left. And go inside of there. We can add one inside of there. And once that is done, next time, maybe tomorrow, not sure, we will close to finishing this. And in fact, close to finishing most features, at least for the initial version. So, I thank you very much for your time. No commits on this front. We can commit the other one that we had already. So, thank you so much for your time. I hope to see you next time in the TypeScript Tea Time. Every week between Central European summertime currently, on Wednesday 18 to 20, or into something around 20, as more success with me, Mirko. Hope to see you next time. Wish you a great day. Enjoy coding and nerd stuff. Bye, everybody. See you around. See whether we can rate somebody. Rate somebody. Instafluff is on. He actually coding today? Does seem to be coding, but when we're rating Instafluff, it might take a while until he's actually be prepared for that. Nevertheless, a great dude. I enjoy the talk. He's doing all the fluff stuff. So, enjoy the company stream. Hope to see you next time. Goodbye, everybody. See ya.